So currently, Bordeaux's big. We're about 100, it's just less than 110,000 hectares. And within that, we have over 5,000 wine growers. Now, this is actually changing. You know, we have this image of Bordeaux as being ancient and never changing. It does change. When I moved to Bordeaux 30 years ago, there were 10,000 wine growers and there were 123,000 hectares of vines. So it shrunk. And this is done on purpose. It's all about trying to increase the quality, decrease the volume. So there has been this movement to, and we're talking about, I don't know if you follow the news, there's been uproar and demonstrating in the streets of Bordeaux because the winemakers are asking the government to finance them to uproot some of the less productive vines. And they want financial help to do that because they're struggling. So Bordeaux is an interesting place because we all think about the classified growths, and lucky you guys, it's exactly what we're going to be tasting here this evening. But never lose sight of the fact that the vast majority of Bordeaux is actually entry-level Bordeaux. Bordeaux and Bordeaux Superior represent over 50% of Bordeaux production, and a lot of those wine growers are struggling. So it's very much a city of two parts, or a vineyard of two parts. It is majority family owned, so despite the fact that you have these classified growths, and we know there's LVMH and there's all these big names, that Chanel, that are in the region, over 50% of the properties still remain small family-run properties. So try not to lose sight of that because everybody thinks, you know, Bordeaux is big, Burgundy is family-run. Bordeaux is also, the vast majority is family-run. And the properties aren't that big. 20 hectares is an average, but it goes from tiny, 2 or 3 hectares, to enormous, 100 or so hectares. So you've got this huge diversity. And I think when you look at Bordeaux, this is one of the really exciting things, is you've got this diversity in styles, in size, in management, in sales techniques, and vineyard practices, as we'll see. So it's big, but it's divided up into 65 different appellations. And only about 5% of that is Grand Cru Classé. Right? So that's the stuff that gets talked about. It represents about 20% of the turnover, but only 5% of the area. So it's very, again, worth remembering that. And now we are looking at 75% of the vineyard under some type of sustainable certification. And I'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. And I think it's about 20% now, just over 20% is organic. But there are lots of different, as here, there are lots of different certifications under this sustainable umbrella that we'll look at in a little bit more detail. So coming back to my point, the average price point in the US of a bottle of Bordeaux is $20. So again, not necessarily the image we have of Bordeaux. So again, that's worth remembering. And as you know, some of them sell for considerably more than that. So obviously, some of them sell for considerably less. And there's a lot of wine. The theory is 18 bottles of Bordeaux are sold every second somewhere in the world. That's a lot of wine.